So the next topic I will discuss is constructors in inheritance. Constructors in inheritance. Suppose a base class contains constructor, and from that base class, just you imagine that one class is created, and the order of execution of the constructors. That means if the base class contains constructor and derived class constructor contains constructor. So in such case, what happens means the base class constructor is executed first, and a derived class constructor is executed next. Means suppose here I have some classes like this: class base. So in the public part I will declare one constructor. The constructor is base. Within this I will print a message that cout base. Close it, and write one more class. This is, suppose this is base 1, and this is base 1, and this is base 2. In the base 2, I have one more constructor called public base 1, base 2. Cout so this is base 2. And you take one derived class. This is derived. So derived class is taking properties from base 1, comma, public base 2. Base 1, base 2. Within this I will write what? Public. In the public section I will use this constructor. Now when I say derived class cout derived, then write main method public void main. Within this I will create a object for derived class, derived D. Now the order of execution of the constructor is from base class to which one? Derived class. Okay, so the order each one. So the derived class, in the derived class, what is the order of derivation? The order of derivation is what? Base 1, base 2. Base 1, base 2 and derived. Okay, so the message will be printed like this. Just I will show. In inheritance, I am defining first base 1. Base 1 in the public section. What I am going to do? I am defining a constructor. This constructor will print a message that base 1. Close it. Class base 2 in the public section define constructor base 2. Cout the base 2 message. Class derived say public base 1, public base 2. Here in the public section, write a constructor for derived class. Here also print a message, cout derived. And start writing main method, void main. Save it first. Constructor inheritance. Derived D include header files, hash include iostream .h, hash include conio.h. iostream base 1, base 2 derived means first base 1 class, base 2 class, derived class, like this. So in the inheritance, automatically the constructor constructors are called. That means this is called as implicit call. So automatically, whenever you create objects for derived class, automatically the constructors will be inherited. The constructors will be inherited. So that even though we are not calling constructors from base classes, automatically they are called. So the order of the execution is what? From top to bottom. Means what happens here? A derived class is there. So in base 1 class I have base 1 constructor, base 2 constructor in base 2. In the derived class, constructor I have got. So in the main function what I am doing here? Just I am creating object for derived class. So in this case, when the moment you create object for derived class, what happens means automatically the constructors will be inherited into derived class. So after invocation of constructors, what is the order of the execution? The order of the execution is what? First base 1 class constructor is executed, base 2. Why base 1, base 2? Because here just you look at this example, here the order of derivation. So in the at the time of creating derived class, so what order I have mentioned over here? The order is what? Base 1, base 2. So base 1 class constructor is executed first, base 2 class constructor is executed next, and next suppose here I may say this is not base 1, suppose this is not base 1, here this is base 2 and this is base 1. So in such case what happens here? The order of the constructors are displayed like this. First base 2, base 1 and derived. Like this the output is displayed. This is next. So in the previous example base 1, base 2 derived. So the output was what? Base 1, base 2 and derived. Okay, first base class constructor, all base classes constructor, next derived class constructor. But in case of destructors, the order of execution will be reversed. So here the order of execution is base 1, base 2, base 3. So in case of destructors, what happens? The order is reversed. First derived, next base 2, next base 1. So this is just like construction of a building. So at the time of construction of building, first we are going to construct first floor, next second floor, next third floor, fourth, fifth. Okay, that is construction. So at the time of destruction, what we are going to do? fifth floor will be destructed first, next fourth, next third, next second, next first. Like this destruction is made. Construction and destruction both are reverse. Okay. Suppose the order of derivation is like this. Base 2, here I may give base 1. So in such case what happens? Look at this, base 2, base 1, base 2, base 1 derived. So if I place destructors, just look at the destructors here. I will place destructor also. Base 1, C out, destructor. Destructor 1. Here this is base 2, base 2. So in the derived class, I will place one more destructor. This is derived. See the reverse, order is reverse. Of course, the destructors are executed at the time of deletion of objects. So in dynamic memory allocation, I will show this. The order of destructor execution is what? Reverse to the constructor execution. So this is about constructors in inheritance. So default constructors, this is about default constructors in inheritance. Suppose in the inheritance, base class constructor is taking some arguments. So when base class constructor is taking arguments, then it is a responsibility of derived class to supply parameters for parent class constructor. So how to supply parameters for base class constructor, just I will discuss now. Suppose one class test 1 is there. Test 1 here in the private section I will declare one variable. In the public section, what I am going to do? Public, I am going to define constructor test 1 which is taking a argument int a or int x. Now a value will be assigned as x value. Very simple example I am giving. Next, this is class test 2. class test2. Here in the private section, integer b I will define. So in the public section, I am going to define constructor test2. So this is also taking one argument like y, b equal to y. Now here I am going to create one class test3. Here also this is taking one argument. This is integer c. Now in the public section, what I am going to do, public test3 is taking three arguments: integer x, integer y, integer z. Within this test1, within this three parameters, it is going to give second parameter to test1 class, because here this test3 class is created from test1 and test2. Okay, so test1 it is giving y comma test2. For test2 it is giving what? Z. Now here c equal to z. C equal to z, close this one. Here you print individual items like void set test1 or print test1, print test1, you print a value, cout a equal to like this. Here also void print test2, cout b equal to like this. Here also you take one more for three functions: void print test3, cout. First to call base class functions. What are the base class functions? First function is print test1, print test2, print test3. Next, in the main method, you create objects. Void main, create object for test3 class. Test3 T3, you have to pass three arguments: 10, 20, 30, because these three arguments are stored in which one? This one. 10 is stored in x, 20 is stored in y, 30 is stored in z. Y is for test1, z is for test2. Next, T3 dot print test3. like this. Hash include iostream dot h, hash include conio.h, class test1, private integer a, in public test1, which is taking one argument for a equal to x, void set test1, cout parameterized constructor. This heading is parameterized constructors in base and derived classes. This is a equal to close this class, class test2 private integer b, in the public section define constructor test2. It is also taking one argument integer y, b equal to y. Set test2. Simply it is for printing the b value. Cout close this. Now class take test3 class. Test3 class is a subclass of test1 and test2. Test3 class is a subclass of test1 and test2. Here in the private section take one variable called c, integer c. So in the public section take test3 with 3 arguments, integer x comma integer y comma integer z. Out of this it is taking the three parameters. One is for c and y is for test1, z is for test2. How to specify this? Just you specify colon first. After specifying colon, write base class constructor's name. Test1. For test1 it is giving y comma test2 z. and C equal to what? X. Now print all the values. Void print set test are given. So instead of test set test, as it is printing value, better you make it as print. Print test3. From this you call base class functions for printing A and B values. So print test1, print test2, C out, print C value. C equal to C. Test3, say void main create object for test3 class. Test3 T3. So at the time of creating object, pass 3 values: 10, 20, 30. Test 2. Now call the functions T3 dot print test3. $20, $30, $10. $10, $20, $30. 10 is passed to X, 20 is passed to Y, Z, 30 is passed to Z. Test 1 Y, test 2 Z, Y is 20, Z is what? 30, X is 10. Otherwise, if you pass like this, test 1 X, test 2 Y, and when you say C equal to Z, like this, when output is 10, 20, 30. Here also you can do like this. So this is what? Calling base class constructors with parameters. Okay, so this is how you can pass parameters to base class. Okay, as long as the base class is not taking any arguments, the derived class need not to supply any arguments. But when the base class is taking arguments, base class constructor taking arguments, then it is the responsibility of to supply parameters for base class constructor. Okay, so that thing I have shown in the programming part. So this is what parameterized constructors in base and derived class. Of which type of inheritance mechanism is this? It comes under which category? This is multiple inheritance.